Okay, today we're going to be comparing the differences between the Rode Video Micro, the DJI lavalier mics, as well as the Rode NTG mics. Here we go. Starting from the cheapest option that you have here, we have the Rode Video Micro. The Rode Video Micro is basically super elementary and you only have access to the power from its camera. Say you're using the 60 Mark II, the Rode Video Micro looks like this. And this is how it looks like fully assembled, the Rode Video Micro. Now coming in at only like $50 to $60, you can't go wrong with the Video Micro. It is better than the in-camera audio that you have from your DSLR, but it's not exactly the best. Now it doesn't have its own internal battery. It all powers up based on your DSLR. And it doesn't have a gain setting in which you can change the gain of your microphone just like how the NTG has. Now why is this important? Alright, so when you don't have access to gain here, all of your gain, your preamps, comes from your DSLR or your camera. Now most cameras coming from Canon cameras, their preamps are pretty bad to begin with. So if you boost your preamps too much, you're gonna have issues with noise in your audio. So this is primarily used for vloggers and non-commercial use or for home use as well. In case if you want to record in a mini vlog for your own house, this could be a right option for you. But stay away from it if you want to go commercial. So moving on to the next microphone that we have. Now the second option that we have is into the DJI lavalier mics. Now personally, this is actually a really expensive system that comes in about $330 on B&H right now. Now this mic, if you ask me, you're paying 100% on its ease of use. You're not paying for the best of audio quality, you're paying for the best ease of use. So it comes in one travel case, which in it itself, it's a battery hub, so it charges all of the accessories inside. Now it comes with 1 and 2 microphones, wireless microphones, and 1 receiver. So there's 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So one of the main advantages from this, aside from other mics that you have, is the ability for it to clip on wirelessly onto your subject. So say if you have a wedding video shoot that you're supposed to have, you can easily mic this up onto the groom and the bride, and you have 2 audio systems. And basically, if you notice on the screen, you can see that the points are moving as I'm talking louder towards the mic. You can see there are audio levels that's being recorded as well. So the best run and gun audio setup happens to go to the DJI lavalier mics. Now how does this work, right? So when you put this into Premiere Pro, there are a couple of options in which you can choose from. So how does this work, right? Having 2 separate audios recording into one transmitter. So let me explain. There are 2 systems in which they call it mono or stereo. So just like what it implies, in a mono timeline in your Premiere Pro or your NLE programs, when you open up the file, you will see a single audio track with 2 of these audios overlaying into each other simultaneously. So these are a pretty great effect if you just want to go for a very fast run and gun down the work. You don't want to do audio processing, and it's pretty easy because you have one timeline with 2 audios synced in. The disadvantage is if you have one person talking louder than the other, say about 5 dB, alright, you're gonna have an issue trying to have dynamic boosting from these 2. I highly recommend you going into Premiere Pro and do dynamics and do some soft compressions and expansions as well. So the other method, which is the smarter way, of course, is to enable stereo mode. And in stereo mode, so this is in mono, this is in mono, and if you click on here, you may proceed for stereo. So in the stereo system, you basically still get one audio track out. However, you get a left and right channel that is different now. So your left channel is going to be your left microphone and your right channel is going to be your right microphone. And why is this so important is because when audio levels don't match, say one speaks louder than the other, you can isolate this channel out, duplicate the channel so you have 2 of the same channels, and you're going to do fill left with right so it becomes the same, and you have the other channel fill right with left and you're going to be the same. So now coming from the fact that this guy is louder and then this guy, you can boost this guy's audio independent of this one to match the audio level. So now you have access to dual channels and you have access to clean the audio up as flexible as though you have 2 separate microphones. Now this technique is pretty useful if you want to have, if you are anticipating people who have different loudness in your voice and you want the best flexibility of audio setup that you can get. So another good thing about this is that it also has an ability to record internally up to 8 gigabytes, and this is one of the features that I love the most from this mic. Simple, small, adaptive, and intuitive. The very fact that I can record audio in this small device like this, and I transfer it based on USB port to my PC, fantastic. I love this feature so much. There are many times in which audio is directly recorded into a DSLR. Sometimes they do fail. They not necessarily record sometimes, and you and I all know that. So what do people do? They have redundancies. They record in two, 3 times extra just for redundance, and this feature and this DJI feature enables you to do exactly that. So you can actually record in audio from the transmitter using a TRS cable into your camera, and you will be safe to know that there will be an internal storage from here as well, recording audio simultaneously, so you have access to 2 audio tracks. So if you're like super OCD and somehow 2 systems has failed you in the past, you can actually record in 3. So you record internally 1, internally 2, and into the transmitter into your DSLR. So you have access to 3 independent places in which you can record audio should you want to record in a very important speech. Aside from this, the ability from these microphones to lapel onto a groom's dress at the same time, you have access to magnets. It goes really well. I really like this system, but you're paying a lot of money for this. So these systems can be used for attaching directly into your camera, as well as it has a dongle which you can attach into your phone as well. Alright, now going into the third option, into the Rode Video NTG. The Rode Video NTG is easily one of my most favorite mics, and it has a battery life of up to 30 hours. The DJI has a battery up to 15 hours. And what it has is that it is a great shotgun mic, which is what I'm using right now to record this audio, hence I don't have it with me. One of the main advantage, just similar to like what this thing does for mono and stereo tracks, is that its ability to record in a separate audio track. For stereo systems, they can record one more at a negative 20 dB. So in case if somebody shouts in the middle of the speech, and that happens to be a very important speech, your first audio track was probably clipped, so you don't have anything on the top information. So you may actually recover it based on the negative 20 track by just feel left with right, and then it will be like this. So that's great, right? You have an ability to, so that's great, right? You have an ability to record in at negative 20. Now, on top of that, it has a high pass filter of 75 and 150. I personally don't use them too much. And it has a gain control in which you can control the gain of the microphone, avoiding the preamps from the internal camera. So again, coming from the fact that we have talked about 3 different audio systems, here are sample audio coming up from these 3 systems. The Rode Video Micro coming in at 250 ringgit, and pretty much here's how it sounds like. Okay, now comes to the second audio device. This is the Rode NTG, costing about 980 ringgit. Honestly, one of my most best purchase I've made because of the quality of the audio that comes right out of it. And now coming down to the last microphone I have, which is the DJI lavalier microphones. Now this costs a whopping 1,600 ringgit. Not necessarily the best audio sounding quality. In fact, I don't really like the audio coming up from it, but I pay extra for the convenience that it carries along. And to sum this whole video up, if I were to go back in time and purchase only one microphone, the obvious winner is going to be the Rode Video NTG mic. Alright, so that pretty much ends up for this video. I highly recommend the Rode NTG being the very first option you should buy when you're starting out your own video productions for YouTube, podcasting, or for client work. Now the DJI pretty okay if you want to do a quick run and gun and you want to have redundancies in your systems. Plus, if you have more than one person in your interview scene, which happens to be most of my shoots, then I require in 2 separate mics to record 2 persons audio. Now the audio coming out from this doesn't exactly sound the best. However, I really do like the accessibility and the specs and features that it has. So this is the second I would recommend. For the Rode Video Micro, it's basically a beginner form of micro that you should only go into if you're recording in audio for your YouTube videos, which you're probably not so big in your YouTube channel and you're just starting out. Then you can buy this one. It is actually pretty affordable, but the audio quality, it's sort of bad. I really don't recommend you buying this at all. If you have the money, please just skip this out. Save money. Do not do what I've done in my past mistakes. Just go on and buy these two systems, or buy this first and buy this second should you want to invest into your video productions in the future. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this episode. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below. If not, I highly recommend you checking out my Pond 5 link, which is a website in which you can go into to download stock royalty footage that I posted in my previous projects. It helps to fund this channel for the next time I want to create new videos. The funding can be used for those videos. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out.